Brian Voelker entering his 11th season at the helm, an 81-69 overall record over the last decade, winning the CAA title in 2014, that year advancing to the NCAA quarterfinals as well. And now he joins our Travis Eldridge.
So we've got Drexel coach Brian Voelker joining us now. Coach, you look back to the end of last year, and to me, that semifinal win at UMass may have been kind of the culmination of everything you had been building throughout the year into a great game where you knock off the top seed. How do you try to build on that momentum from the end of last season?
Yeah, well, we tried to build on it the next game and weren't able to. Yeah, I mean, we had a strange year. We started off a little bit slow. We had a couple of games, the High Point game that we thought we could have won. They did a good job and pulled it out at the end. For us, we always try to play a real difficult schedule early in the year to help us down the road and to help us in that CAA tournament and to compete in the CAA, the league. Again, we felt like we did some good things. We were right there, whether we were going to make the CAA tournament or whether we weren't. We were able to get in there. Thought UMass was really talented, had some really good players. Greg always gets those guys to play hard. But we had a really good game, and the kids, capitalized on some good stuff. And obviously, we were excited to get the win and to get to the championship game of the CAA. But yeah, I mean, that's our goal. We've talked to our guys. Just because we made the CAA tournament, just because we went to the CAA final, that doesn't mean we're going to do it again this year. But I do think we have the pieces in place to be very good and to compete for the CAA title again. And that's obviously always our goal.
Well, and that's what stands out to me as I look back at last year and I was reviewing the roster. And you got a lot of pieces coming back. Why don't we start on offense? You lose Marshall King, who obviously was such a key piece. He's now doing his thing in the NLL. But you still bring back Matt Varian and Reed Bowring, who were two important pieces of that offense. Who slides in there as the third piece to kind of round out that trio?
Well, yeah, we just started practice on Monday, so that's what we're trying to figure out now. There's probably, 3 or 4 guys kind of competing for that spot. I don't think we're planning on getting 50 points out of whoever we put in there. Marshall was such a talented player and such a good kid and a great captain and, just super productive, ever since he got here. So we're trying to figure that stuff out. We're trying to figure out, I don't think anybody's going to look quite like Marshall in that spot. But we're trying to figure out who fits the best, with Reed and with Matt, at that third spot. And we have, like I said, there's probably 3 or 4 guys competing for that spot right now.
With Reed Bowring, I had a chance to see him play in the Fall Classic for Team Canada. What did you notice about that experience for him, you being someone who had a chance to represent Team USA during your playing days?
Yeah, I mean, look, we say it all the time. Anytime our guys can play at a high level and play against really good competition, that's only going to help them. And Reed, has done such a great job in the 3 years that he's been here. We're expecting another great year out of him. I wouldn't expect anything less. He's such a good kid. He's a captain this year, super productive, does anything you ask him to do. For him to get a chance to play at that really high level and to compete for a spot on that Canadian team. He's super talented, and I would expect him to be a guy that they look at. He's a guy that's going to get drafted in the NLL, and he's going to be a great player in that league. And again, he's a guy that we're going to lean on heavily to have for us to have a great year. He's going to have a great year. So we're going to lean on him heavily to do that stuff. Him and Matt, have to they have to be really good players for us, and we know they're going to do that stuff.
We talked about it at the end of last year. Have you noticed a chip on Matt Varian's shoulder? He was snubbed from the All-CAA teams, and knowing the year he had and probably what he'd like to do to kind of cement his legacy there at Drexel.
I haven't noticed it, and I'm a little surprised, to be honest. If I were him, I would be mad about it. And look, there's a lot of great attackmen in our league, but I think he led the CAA in the league in scoring. Like I said, the good news for him and for us is he doesn't seem to care that much. He's going to go out. He's going to work really hard. He had an injury in the fall, so he's coming back from an injury right now. We're hoping to get him back for the first game of the year. But again, he's a guy that when he's here and when he's healthy, he's a great player. He's hyper productive. Like I said, we're going to lean on him. We're going to have giant expectations for him. I think he has, giant expectations for himself. And again, between him and Reed, that's obviously a great, basis to have a great offense. And like I said, we're going to need those guys to be really good for us and to help the other guys out and to be leaders down there. And we know they can do that stuff.
In the midfield, anybody who had a chance to see you play last year probably noticed Colin Mailman, because his speed coming out of the box, you can't miss it if you watch you guys play. Last year was kind of like a breakout year for him. It felt like he was kind of developing what he could do offensively. What do you hope for him, and what's his ceiling as he enters his final year?
Well, I mean, Colin's a great story. I mean, he's a guy we recruited as an offensive player. He just didn't quite get it on offense the first year or two that he was here, but he was always productive. He always played for us. He obviously a great athlete. He came to me after his sophomore year and said he wanted to play offense, and I said, okay, well, you're gonna have to work really hard. Here's the things you're gonna have to work on. And he showed up last fall and obviously worked on those things. And had probably a better year than we thought he was going to have, and we thought that he could have, not because of his athleticism, but we just weren't sure, that he could kind of fit into the things we do on offense. But it's a credit to him. I mean, he works super hard to be a really good player for us. So obviously we're hoping he takes a next step. We're hoping that he's, one of the best middies, if not the best middie in the league. Again, he's going to have some guys that have produced around him, and we think they're, as a midfield group, we can be really productive. He's going to get a lot more attention, probably, especially early in the year. But we think he can handle it. We think, again, he's not a kid that shies away from working hard and going out on his own and trying to get himself to be better. So we're going to continue to build on that, and hopefully he's going to take the next step. And be maybe an All-American or be maybe the best middie in the league. I mean, that's what he's obviously shooting for.
Finally, you guys may have played as many goalies as anybody in the entire country last year. What's the goal position look like entering 2020?
Yeah, I mean, look, Ross, solidified things early in the year. And again, to be quite honest, the way we played defense early in the year, I don't think any goalie was going to look good in there. But we kind of got our feet underneath of us and played much better on the defensive end. We feel like Ross is the guy that, he's getting the first reps. The good news for us, there's a lot of guys pushing him. We have some kids that, have worked really hard to be good players for us, and that goalie competition is good. I mean, our goalies yesterday in practice, I said to all of them, you guys all played great today. So that's obviously only going to help us as a team. But Ross right now is the guy that we would pencil in as our day one starter. And he did, a really good job as a freshman, stepping in there, making saves. Again, hopefully he's going to expand his game, and he's going to be more of a leader, and he's going to be a better clearer. He's going to make, be more consistent. I think the one thing last year is he started a little bit slow in some of our games. But again, we're expecting really good competition there. And right now he's the guy that's penciled in as the starter.
Coach, still some work to do here before you guys get that opener midway through next month. Stay warm there in Philly. I know it's supposed to get cold here in the next couple of days, and we'll catch up again soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.